From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, most of the 21 soldiers who were being checked at the hospital on Fort Wainwright for possible carbon monoxide poisoning have been released.
That's right. The soldiers that are paratroopers from the 4th Infantry Brigade Combat Team in Anchorage were taking part in an exercise at the Yukon training area near Eielson Air Force Base when they began to show symptoms related to carbon monoxide exposure. They were evacuated by ground to the hospital in Fairbanks. Now, most were released this morning and are awaiting pickup by their unit. The cause of the incident is under investigation.
None of the exposure is deemed life-threatening. 17 are returned to duty today, and there are 4 still being evaluated at Bassett. After we detected the exposure yesterday morning, and our unit on the ground was able to react quickly and eliminate what they thought was the source. And so we have no reason to believe that anybody else was exposed or that there's any continuing danger to the soldiers out there.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly has approved spending another $1 million to continue the legal battle over the value of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. The borough claims the value for taxing purposes is much higher than the pipeline owners say it is. The issue went to court in 2006 and was settled this year when it was ruled the line was worth $10 billion, not the $850 million the oil companies claimed it was. Arguments continue for the other years that haven't been ruled on yet. Now, last May, the State Assessment Review Board met to try and determine the real value of the pipeline.
It's important to our communities, to our police, to our fire departments, to the people in these communities that you get it right. So I'm here to ask that you do.
It's a depreciating asset. It's 8 years older. Reserves have declined, so it's a depreciating asset that's serving a declining field, and the throughput has declined.
The students of UAF have been in attendance since the beginning of September, and today they received the annual UAF greeting from UAF Chancellor Brian Rogers. The Chancellor began the speech by informing the audience that last year the university had the largest graduating class in history, with more than 1,400 receiving awards. Additionally, every athletics team had an average GPA of over 3.0. Chancellor Rogers went on to say that many new construction projects were planned, including a new Indigenous Studies Center located between the museum and the Natural Sciences Building. Now, Rogers is very enthused about the coming year and the potential research and development.
The people of UAF, and it could not exist without our belief in the mission. That mission brings us together, makes us friends as well as colleagues. We can only position UAF as a leading student-centered research university, as America's Arctic University, if we work together.
North Pole police say they have recovered some items that were reported stolen earlier this year. Authorities received a tip from 2 youths who were fishing. That information led them to the Tanana Flats area about a mile behind the high school. They were able to recover a stolen trailer and also found 2 other vehicles stuck in the heavily mudded area with the help of an Army Corps of Engineer park ranger. The trailer was reported stolen in the May of this year. Police say it was taken from a construction site near North Pole High School. An investigation is ongoing.
All right, when we come back, a new security system is being installed in schools across the Fairbanks North Star Borough.
Also, a message in a bottle is found some 15 years later. That story is next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. The Fairbanks North Star Borough School District is increasing safety measures inside of borough schools by installing new safety cameras. These sleek cameras are not your run-of-the-mill video capturing devices. School district technology officials say the cameras are installed in areas that are not easily identifiable to those who may be on the lookout. They are monitored 24/7 by computer, and safety officials will also have access to the cameras by cell phone app. This way they can constantly monitor the areas even from remote locations.
Are the latest in HD technology, onboard analytics. The software that we use also comes with different analytics packages, which basically allows us to do a lot more things than we were able to do with the old system. A lot of the cameras that we choose are covert cameras. Basically, they're designed to blend in with the environment so that you're not quite sure where they are. That way it kind of helps deter things a little bit better. If a person sees a camera, then maybe they're like, oh, okay, I won't do that here. But if you know know that there are cameras installed throughout and you don't know where, then you're kind of less likely to deviate from a safe plan.
The district was able to pay for the costs of the new camera system by a safety grant, and although officials don't want to say which schools do or do not have the cameras, they do say that all will eventually have cameras installed as part of the new plan.
We've all heard the stories. They even have a movie about it, Message in a Bottle. But what happens when you are walking down the river and actually find one? Well, that's exactly what happened to one Interior Alaska woman, and it started a social media hunt for the two young men who penned the message. Now, the letter read, "We are two 13-year-old boys. We threw this bottle in the Tanana River on August 4th, 1999. 15 years later, the two boys, Kyle and Randall, were contacted and notified that their message was found and was now all over social media. Randall says he gives credit to the power of social media in locating the two who, yes, left their phone numbers on the sheet of paper. As for the last line that read, "In case you're a hot girl, we're single," Randall, now a father, said he has actually found a girl and is not single anymore.
Yes, we didn't find each other for 3.5 more years after that, but yes, she's the Facebook person, so she was the one who initially found it on one of her friends' pages. We all lived up off of Chena Hot Springs or Hagelbarger or somewhere up there, and we all lived in the same area near each other. We did everything together when we were younger.
The boys and their group of friends say they also buried a time capsule at the same time they sent off their message in a bottle. Now, funny thing is, when they went back to dig the capsule up, the boys could not find their buried treasures. Randall told us he hopes these events can help to reconnect the group some 15 years later.
The University of Alaska Fairbanks is starting the fall season with fire. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, UAF is hosting the Starvation Gulch Bonfire. The event is regarded as a Nanook tradition for students of the university ever since it began over 90 years ago. This year, Starvation Gulch will be held at the Nenana parking lot instead of the Taku parking lot. 6 teams compete at the event by building structures made of wood pallets. After the structures are judged on their designs, they will be lit on fire at about 10 p.m. Saturday. Nanook Traditions chairwoman Danny Atkins says the fires represent the passing of knowledge to UAF freshmen.
University as a whole, it's a good way for all the new students to meet new people, have a good time. There will be clubs who have booths there, fundraising for their clubs. It's just passing of knowledge and like friendship, and it's like, hey, welcome to this awesome bonfire. Let's have a good time.
Nice.
Yep, that's pretty cool. Joe Cook has more firsts and more history from last night's flag football game. Also get a look at the sports weekend ahead, news about the Nanook rifle team, and the play of the week.
Love it.
Yeah, stay with us with Joe.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here to get your weekend started with some local sports. The most successful program up on the hill, the Alaska Rifle Program, is one of the top programs in the country, and the Collegiate Rifle Coaches Association agrees. The CRCA preseason poll, which was released yesterday, has the Nanooks ranked second behind West Virginia. UAF won silver in last year's national championship match, while West Virginia has won back-to-back national titles. The Nanooks also won the first ever Patriot Rifle Conference back in February. After UAF is Nebraska and TCU to round out the top 5. Alaska returns 3-time All-American and senior Ryan Anderson. Junior Tim Cherry is back to defend his small bore national title. Senior Mats Eriksson and junior Lorley Stanfield and redshirt freshman Sagan Madalena had great summers competing in the ISSF World Championships, also headlined the UAF Rifle Returners. Alaska opens the season at home against the University of Tennessee Martin on October 11th. The Alaska volleyball team is not only facing tough opponents, but a tough schedule in their 4th match in 7 days. And Nanooks had some bad deja vu, losing to Central Washington last night on the road in straight sets, all by the score of 25-14. Sam Hartoon had 11 kills and 9 digs to lead UAF. Linda Firethorn had a game-high 15 kills for the Wildcats. Scholastica's 18th straight loss dating back to last season, but they have a chance to stop the streak tomorrow at Northwest Nazarene. Today was opening day of this year's high school tennis regionals. Local tennis players won the Dan Ramras Community Tennis Courts this afternoon for quarterfinal action. Girls 1 seed Dana LeMay won 6-0, 6-0 over Monroe's Morgan Withers to advance to the finals and punch her ticket to the state tournament. Lone Owlson player John Rice swept Chance Shachel to advance in the semis and boys singles. And Hutchinson's Anastasia Ante and Ashley Stark won 6-1, 6-1 over West Valley to advance to the semis. And boys doubles, a little upset. 5 seed Brian Eli and Brandon Van Landingham of West Valley won 6-0, 6-3 over 3 seed Monroe. The tennis regionals continue tomorrow for semifinals and the finals at 10 a.m. at the DRCT. There are a couple of games left, but last night was essentially the interior high school football title game for flag football. Some usual suspects vying for history, Lathrop and West Valley. Both teams split their first 2 meetings and both won by shutouts. The Pack came in with a 5-1 record. Lathrop was 4-2. It was all about defense for both teams after scoreless first half, but the Wolfpack got on the boards with a huge play from Olivia Shellican. She decides to keep it, and she runs 81 yards to the crib for the longest scoring play of the season in flag football, giving West Valley a 6-0 lead. Lathrop tried to answer, but they were plagued by penalties, and West Valley's defense was just stout. They record their 4th straight shutout and 6th straight win with a 6-0 victory over West Valley. West Valley wins the season series over Lathrop 2-1, and they have winning records against their remaining opponents, so they clinched the first ever interior high school flag football title with a 6-1 record.
That's what we set out to do, in this first year of flag football in Fairbanks. No one knew how it was going to go. We didn't know if it was going to last the whole season. We didn't know if, how many teams we were going to have. Just so to be the first team to get a title in the Fairbanks area, it's big. You know what I mean? That's history, especially if this flag football gig goes on to, get big in Fairbanks like it is in Anchorage. We'll be known as the first team to win a championship, the West Valley Wolfpack 2014 season. So that's big.
The West Valley and Lathrop crosstown rivalry continued on the volleyball court on Thursday night as well. The Wolfpack shook off their last loss, a 4-set defeat to the Hutchinson Hawks by lowering the broom on the Malamutes. Former Malamute Ruthie Hubert was a big factor with a double-double, 11 kills and 10 blocks. Amber Smidge chipped in with 5 aces while Audrey Freeman dished out 10 assists. The Wolfpack win 25-12, 25-18, 25-18 for their first MAC win of the season. Lathrop drops to 0-2 in conference play. Lots to get into this weekend for your local sports fix. Tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. is the Alaska Nanook Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The class of 2014 includes former Nanook hockey coach Guy Godowski. That's at the Wedgwood Resort, and tickets are $35. And at 10 a.m. on Saturday is day 2 of the Region 6 Tennis Championships at the Dan Ramras Community Tennis Courts. Then at 2:30 at the North Star Golf Course are the Region 6 Cross Country Championships. And the nightcap at 6:30, the best bout ever at the Carlson Center featuring the Fairbanks Roller Girls and more. And at 7 p.m. the Nanook hockey team will have their annual Blue Gold game at the Patty Ice Arena. Sunday is the Hay, Bell, and Heath 6K run. That's $20 and starts at 2 p.m. from the Dog Mushers Hall. There will also be a team play basketball clinic tomorrow from 9 to 3 at Ryan Middle School for girls and boys in middle school. The camp is headed by former West Valley basketball coach Steve Kacheri and Chad Roberts. Well, you lucked out, interior sports fans. It happens sometimes, but we have 2 plays of the week. The votes were tallied, and it was a tie. Both of them were clutch plays. The first from North Pole's flag football team, Caitlin Bartley finds Lindsley Damel on a 4th and 26 at the Patriots rally to beat Hutchinson 18-3. And the other play of the week goes to Garius Maiden, the Lathrop Malamutes. Maiden made the touchdown-saving tackle with 2 minutes remaining against the Palmer Moose last Friday to secure Lathrop's Rail Belt title in the 28-26 win. To pick the next play of the week, watch the KTVS Sportscast on Mondays for the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into our Friday night weather. Mike Schultz with you once again. Another great day. Lots of sunshine across the interior. We're expecting that to continue tomorrow. And in most of Sunday after that, things start to change a little bit. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Photograph night sent in by Alan Odom. He was at Birch Lake, was able to capture this wonderful photograph here again on Birch Lake. Lake looks pretty big, doesn't it? I've heard a lot of good fishing coming out of there too. And again, as always, if you have a photograph to share, by all means, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Here's your numbers at the airport. 56 after a high of 55. The lows last night, 27. Record high, 69, 1934. Record low, 11 in 1909. Now the sunrise and sunset, right around 11 hours and 44 minutes of daylight. a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite picture, things have changed since yesterday. We're getting more moisture coming up from the south. This is expected to bring widespread rain to the southern half of the state, especially over southeast Alaska where it's raining as we speak, but it won't make it past the Alaska Range for a couple days at least. We're looking at this trough of low pressure coming in from the west. That's going to be bringing us in more moisture and colder temperatures and a possibility of some of that white stuff too. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Across the state, we have cloudy skies around Juneau and Ketchikan, partly cloudy skies, 65 degrees there. Not too bad around Anchorage, 57 degrees, some clouds at Kodiak Island. Along the Aleutian chain, cloudy skies at Cold Bay up and down the west coast, mainly partly cloudy skies. And then you get to the North Slope, Barrow at 30 degrees and cloudy skies. Lower 48 weather starting with the northwest. We're looking at things clearing up over the Pacific Northwest, 68 degrees at Seattle, but even warmer. It's Portland, 74 degrees there. Idaho Falls reporting some showers. And then Denver, almost 90 degrees. What a change. Heading across the east, you can see 79 degrees in Chicago, 86 degrees in Nashville, 77 and 78 at New York and Washington, D.C. Over the southeast, looking at 71 degrees at Charlotte, 84 degrees thunderstorms in the New Orleans area, and Dallas at 87 degrees. Well, back to the west we go, and looking at very warm temperatures and thunderstorms rumbling as we speak around the Las Vegas area, 101 degrees at Phoenix, Los Angeles at 83. On the satellite and radar, you can see those storms start to develop in the afternoon right around the Las Vegas area, really streaming, and a lot of heavy rain expected there. More thunderstorms and rain coming across the deep south. Other than that, things looks pretty good. In fact, over the eastern half of the country, we're looking at mainly partly cloudy skies. And the overall outlook for Saturday is calling for much cooler air moving back in, which means a better chance of getting hold of all those fires that are going on in California. But a flash flood risk will continue across the western states. Now, the overall outlook for next week, look how far that jet stream goes way up to the north. That means nothing but warm and dry conditions over the western half of the country and humid and thunderstorm activity over the southeast. Okay, back to Alaska for tomorrow. The northern sections, mostly cloudy skies for Barrow, clouds and showers at Nome, and mostly sunny skies in Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, looking at plenty of sunshine for Healy, Delta Junction, and the Fairbanks area. And as far as southeast Alaska, rain will become heavy for both Juneau and Ketchikan by evening. While out to the southwest, it looks like for the most part, partly cloudy skies at Cold Bay, sunny in Bethel with more rain expected at Kodiak. And if you head on down the Anchorage area, take an umbrella because they're looking for widespread rain for Valdez, Homer, and Anchorage. Okay, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. And again, we're looking at 27 degrees, a cold night again, a few clouds, possibly some auroras. It's a pretty good level. It's up to about a 4 right now, which is pretty impressive. Tomorrow's forecast, looking for lots of sunshine, 49 degrees, but a little cooler than it was today. And the overall outlook is calling for maybe clouds and snow showers moving in by Sunday evening. That will continue into Monday. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mainly partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs right around the mid-40s each day. Overnight lows at a pretty good number, right around 30 degrees. And overall, it looks like most of the weekend should be good. We're looking at, like I said, maybe some auroras later on tonight, so keep an eye out for that.
Great.
Very good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thanks, Mike. But tonight, before we go, we wanted to share this touching story of a little boy in the lower 48 whose father was killed 1 year ago today while serving in Afghanistan. His mother said the two used moon references when they couldn't talk. She said Darren would talk to the moon instead. And when he passed away, Darren said his daddy went to the moon.
Oh, wow.
That is why tonight Darren is asking everyone all over the world to do him a simple favor by turning on their porch lights tonight.
Well, Darren says by doing this, you are helping his dad, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Thomas Allen Bayshore, Jr., to see him by shining a light to the moon.
And Darren has been getting messages of support from all over the country and the world with photos posted to his Facebook page of porch lights on in support of his family.
All right.
I'll be turning mine on.
So light,
Great
definitely.
stuff. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
All right, tonight on NBC Nightly News, hundreds of flights are canceled after a fire at Chicago FAA Center. That's next with Brian Williams.
You can join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at Webster11.com.
Okay, that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Put your porch light on, and we'll see you back here at 11. Good night.